tired.
Didn't get stuck to the wrapper, though.
Get it ready, boys.
So, this was unplanned for our cold open. Now, you may or may not know that Luds has a sneaky method of occasionally using a cough drop to help with the loss at throat, but you're pretty good about tucking it away so it doesn't affect your speech, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Sam just piled in one of those giant rectangular
A wad of chew?
Jolly Ranchers as we go
Green
live
apple.
because it doesn't affect your diction at all.
No. My what?
Exactly. Let's start the show.
You can't put a bounty on a man's head.
I just did.
This is the DLLS Stars podcast on Wednesday, November 19th. And just a reminder, no, we do not have a dump button. So everything we say, whether you like it or not, goes out live over YouTube. And then, of course, if you're listening later, maybe it gets edited before we put it on all of the audio streaming platforms. We have... Are you talking about toilets?
You're thinking of you're thinking on the airplane when you
dump button.
when you press the button. It's
No.
it scares the
A
crap out of you.
flush valve is what sends the water from the tank on the top of your toilet into the bowl of your toilet. That's called a flush valve.
Do you know that
I've
sometimes
replaced
the frozen,
many of them. You've probably
I just
destroyed
replaced
many
about
of them.
7 of them, but what's the handle called? The flush handle. That's a dump valve.
That's a flusher.
I think it's the handle.
Did you know that frozen feces falls off of airplanes and flies to the earth sometimes?
Anecdotal.
What happens if it hits you?
Have
in the
you
head?
seen
I
Joe
don't know.
Dirt?
Joe Dirt. I know that, but that's a movie. I learned recently that really happened.
Yes,
That's a bunch of
But you say,
Yeah, it is.
should we welcome in Sam? We have Craig Ludwig. We have Proximity Sam Nestler. I'm Owen Newkirk. Ryan Vaughters is our producer, and Sean Shapiro is on the show today. Today, he's either volunteering at a soup kitchen or he is a patron of said soup kitchen. So we're just
I am a patron of said soup kitchen.
Yeah, who can say? Sean,
Poor journalists, don't go into this field. You end up going to soup kitchens. You can't feed your family. But also, this time, that's not
we had
the
a
case right
big game last night that was pretty, Buds said, low event until it wasn't the last, I'd say, 2 minutes, maybe a little bit in the third period overall, but definitely the last 2 minutes of the game. And so this is one of those games where even though we spent a full post-game show, and I thought, Luds, that we did a great job hitting all the big points of the game last night, but we need to digest it a little bit more. So we have a lot of stuff today to get into. Before we do, though, let's talk about the new shirts that aren't so new, but they're still the newest shirts for our merchandise collection. They are the DLS Face-Off collection. You know, Black Friday's coming up. The holiday's right behind that. If you're looking for a gift, what better way to get them a great shirt from DLS, whether it's these two of the Face-Off collection, the classic Die Hard shirt, which still has some scraps from my lunch on it, apparently. Sam's got a very new, not ironed Wyatt Johnston 16-bit. Luds has got the classic flag shirt on. AllDLS.com. Ryan, who refuses to put himself on camera, is wearing the Skyline, which is one of my personal favorites, along with the Finnish Mafia.
Hi, Ryan.
So, AllDLS.com and get your DLS merch today. Okay, guys, let's get into last night and some of the things that we need to follow up on. I believe the first part of this is going to be breaking down the Stars' defending and goaltending from last night against the Islanders. And when Craig Ludwig calls for the ball, you give him the ball because usually he says, don't give me the puck. Somebody else should have it. But if he wants it, you know.
That never happened in any of my games.
Right. No one ever passes it to you, right? So
No, I didn't want it.
Get
I
it away.
wanted nothing to do with it. We didn't get along.
Well, Luds wanted the puck this morning, so we're going to give it to him. And let's start with the Islanders' first goal where Luds wants to show that, and then Sean has some sort of complimentary breakdowns of this. This was the Callum Ritchie goal. as we start to answer the question, what are the Stars doing defensively, and where is Jake Oettinger's game right now through the first 20 games of the season?
Okay, so yeah, and Sean obviously is going to pick up on Jake and that whole debacle that happened. But here, this is about passing lanes for me. And again, this is what Glenn Gullickson is working towards. You have to know where the passing lanes are, and you could see you could drive a truck through this one. Then when you're bringing people back to the net, you have to take them all the way back to the net. This is Oscar Beck who comes through. Again, remember that first clip where the passing lanes were open? They're still open. So nobody up top ever even moved to drop down a little bit lower, keep it out of the dangerous area. Right here, Beck doesn't stay with the shooter, which is Callum Ritchie. And you can see here, look at the eyes looking away from everywhere but where it should be looking. And so here was where it only took a half a step, and Richie jumps into that hole. And then again, and we're going to talk, and I saw this morning. I'm glad Sean's doing this because I was wondering, well, we can talk about this later. Sean can talk about this, but the only spot I want to go with this. So anyway, those are the passing lanes that I talk about. Sticks got to be in lanes. You got to collapse to the front. And if it goes back to the point, you're fine because you're in a shooting lane. And that's what happens when you take away the middle of the ice. And then when I looked at it again this morning, first thing I thought of was what Sean's going to talk about is I was wondering why. And can we pull up that very first one? I want to let Sean talk about this because I'm thinking that's where you're going to go, Sean. Yes.
So go to the first one. There's two from this goal. Go to the first one. So yeah, okay. Yeah, so I want to talk just the start here. So you have the passing lanes are wide open and everything like that. But right now we're going to look at just Jake's job here. Jake has slid over right to left. He's gotten to this spot. Miro is actually taking away this shot fully for Jake here in this spot. There's the shooter is not a threat. There are three other threats, right? And there's the top at the point. There's Richie who's eventually going to score. You see him circled there on the right, and then obviously see the guy in the crease. The thing with Jake's decision-making on all of this, and this is right after the slide over. And so from this spot, the play recognition is there are three threats. All three of them are coming off of a pass. So as a goalie in this spot, you're not squaring to the shooter. You need to play deeper. You need to be an athlete and read the play and realize that your next move is going to be to deal with a shot off a pass if something gets through. And so this is where now Ryan, go to the next one because this was right. So now look how Jake has gotten set up. So Jake, the initial photo before showed Jake right after the slide over. From that spot, you need to see your goalie basically either move deeper, actually deeper to the middle of the crease or deeper to the post. Either way is fine. Just something along the lines that works of, okay, understanding the depth of the situation. Jake has come out and threatened this, has come out and challenged this play like the clean shot is the only real threat. And that's what he's done here. And in doing so, he's basically taken himself out of the play to eventually handle this pass to Callum Ritchie. And now it's poor zone, it's poor defensive zone coverage by the Stars to let the pass be there and everything like that. But there's no chance to make this because he has no chance to make this save because he went and aggressively challenged a shot that wasn't the threat. And that's the big thing, right? Like the Stars are going to there's two big conversations here. The defensive zone coverage, the passing lanes that open up. But if you're Jeff Reese and Jake Oettinger today, you're looking at this and you're like, why are you giving yourself an extra 2 feet of push you have to handle right now? That's where if that initial passer, I believe that was Duclair, right? Like if he goes and if he takes the shot from there, that's a shot. That's an easy shot into your gut, or it hits Miro and it's a trickler and you handle it well. Like, why are you making your life more difficult on that? And there's a couple instances of that last night. We'll talk about some other goals too as well with Jake, where there's just some decision making where he made his life harder. And when your defense is already making your life harder with some of these passing lanes, it becomes a really rough combination, as we saw here.
Sean, so what happens here is people don't trust each other. That's what it comes down to me. And so the only thing I'm going to ask you, Sean, does it seem like he's overcompensating on the glove side? Is he concerned about that, or is it just something completely different?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit of a trust thing, Luds. I mean, and we'll talk about the third goal in a little bit here, but part of the third goal is a spot where you have there's a trusting your defender to do the right thing. And there's a bit of an irony for me on this because both goal 1 and 3, and we'll go over the graphics for 3 in a little bit here, You got one of the best defenders on the planet who, if you're going to trust anyone, you should trust Miro to do the right thing. And Jake is overcompensating that Miro's not going to do the right thing on this. And Jake will never see that, obviously, but his body language and his decision making is showing, I don't trust that the right decision is going to be made. And it's a trust communication thing. It's something where if you're the Stars and you are Jeff Reese and the coaching staff and everything like that, you kind of got to sit down and look and say, look, if you play this the right way and we get beat, that's not on you, right now. But this you make this about you. You make this a problem that you've exasperated, because there's a chance for a world-class save here if he is on the left post and if he's on the left post and allows himself to read and allows his athleticism to read the play. But the second he gives himself an extra foot of travel on this, he takes away any chance of making the save. And it goes back to the trusting that Miro, of all people, is going to do the right thing. And he just needs to do that. So,
yeah, that's what Sean just said at the end. I was going to ask the same question. It's not that Jake should make this safe, right? That's a great play. It's a backdoor pass with a wide open forward.
Yes.
But he didn't give himself a chance, and that's why I'm glad you said that.
Correct.
That's what Jake does sometimes. That you're looking at it and thinking, just make a little better read, and you can at least get there instead of just being completely hung out to dry. But before you move on to the other ones, Sean, I'm curious: is this what Jeff Reese and the goalies are watching? This type of stuff? Do they look at it this way and say, "Here's your read on this play. Here's what we could have done better," and go over it that way?
Yeah, I mean, this is why the position is so technically overcoached now, right? Like there is and I was speaking to Dave Lassonde. I'm at USA Hockey Arena right now, and I was actually speaking to Dave Lassonde, who's the coach for the under-18, under-17 national teams today. And there's part of the decision where if you're a goalie coach today after a game like that, and we weren't talking about Jake, but we were talking in general, how do you coach goalies to learn from mistakes and learn from that? This is a part of it where you're going to go and you're going to take this clip and you're going to show it and you're going to be like, okay, let's talk about what you should do. It's not Jeff Reese's job to tell Jake what to do. It's his job to help Jake be the problem solver himself, because Jake is a world-class athlete. He has the potential to be one of the best goalies in the world. And if he just gives himself some of that foundational space within his play reading, his decision-making, all of a sudden there's some opportunity to turn should-be goals like Richie's goal into potentially world-class saves. And so I think that's the lesson today. You come at it from a point of understanding of, we're not being critical, we're not telling you to change your game a ton this way or the other, but be the problem solver, be the athlete on it, be someone who's going to look at this. And when it comes to the play reading, we know you're smart enough to do this, so just use the tools you already have. And I think that's what's going to work well for the Stars if Jeff Reese and Jake have that conversation today.
And this is all what you guys say are all incredibly important points. Sam and I were in the press box last night watching that unfold. Sam immediately leans and goes, that all happened because the Quebec line. That's right, the Quebec
Beautiful
line.
name.
We'll talk about that later. But the Bork, Beck, and Roscovian line failed to get the puck out. I think they had 2 attempts on that shift.
And then they finally got it to the other blue line and turned it over at the
that's what led to what Luds broke down and then what Sean did with the goal itself. So there are layers to this. It's not just on the defense and it's not just on Jake. It's the whole thing on a play like that.
I'm going back to the beginning.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't want to throw a wrench into this, but Sean, go back to the very first point you said about Miro. Can you pull that up again, Ryan? Just the very first clip that you had for Sean. If we're too far, it doesn't matter.
With the 3 passing lines.
Yeah. So, Sean, this very first clip here, what did you say about Miro? Did you say Miro has got the shot here?
Miro has the shot here. Yeah, this is a play, whether it is the right or wrong thing. From Jake's perspective at this spot, Miro has the shot, and he has taken the shot. And that is something where I'd like to see a little bit better from Miro, honestly, on cutting that lane for not necessarily I'd like to see that stick, Luds. I'm sure you talk a lot about that stick position. I'd like to see Miro's stick position a little bit differently here. But yeah, in this situation, from this spot, from the play recognition spot from Jake, Miro has taken this shot. This shot there is no way a clean shot gets through. And you know what? If Anthony Duclair picks the elbow with a snipe of the left corner above the glove, Anthony Duclair is hitting the shot of his life, and you just clap and say, okay, it happened. But that's not going to happen. Anthony Duclair is not. I don't know what shooter you want to be to say that is, but that's the play recognition you have to understand on that. So
we have a disagreement here.
But it's not a disagreement. I think that he's saying Miro should have the shot where he's positioned.
Yeah, have never taught that way. Have never been taught that way. From where? Hang on a second. Now we always shut up for you. So from where that shooter is, he's on the other side of the faceoff dot. And every goalie I've played with, including the guy that was behind the bench the other night, wants that shot. I don't want Miro in front of him with that shot. My responsibility, along with Esa, is nothing's coming across. The goaltenders don't want to have to move. So it's the same way as playing a 2-on-1. When you're in a certain place on the ice, you want to give him the shooter. So right now, he has no option but to have to come across because nobody's taking the passing lane. Yep. If Miro backs off and he backs more in the middle of the ice and I step out of, and he's got a clear sight from here. I don't care if you're a 14-year-old. From there, you better stop that shot if you're a goaltender.
Yes.
But now having another set of legs here, by me putting my stick in that lane and possibly tipping it, I promise you Jake is going to look right at you and go, get your stick out of the way. I've got that. That's where I disagree with. Miro's got the shot lane. Never going to happen on my guys.
But the point is not that Miro did the right thing. The point is the play recognition for Jake. You have to be, from my perspective, when you look at what Jake's would read on this and everything, it's that when someone else is effed up, your job is to you still have, if someone in front of you effs up, you have to then make your own adjustment to make up for them effing up, right? That's where my point goes on this. So
okay. All right. So you're saying you would rather you want Jake to take that shot in the perfect world?
Yes.
Okay.
In a perfect world. Yes.
Okay. I misunderstood that.
Yes.
I'm having shakes right now.
Okay.
So
take a breath because you have a read, and we're going to talk much more about this with some more plays next here on the DLS Stars podcast.
Right now, I like to put a hole in a roof. With over 700 5-star reviews and an average rating of 4.9, Qualis Roofing is one of the most trusted names in roofing across North Texas and Austin. Homeowners and business owners alike consistently praise Qualis for their honesty, follow-through, and quality workmanship. Whether it's your home or your business, Qualis Roofing has you covered, literally. They specialize in both residential and commercial roofing projects. Based right here in North Texas, Qualis isn't some storm flying by the night kind of crew. They're local, they're experienced, they're committed to doing things the right way. Schedule a free inspection and get a free DLS shirt. Replace your roof with Qualis and choose between a free Blackstone grill and a Traeger smoker, because getting a new roof should come with a little extra sizzle. LOL, my favorite part. Qualis isn't just good at roofing, they're great at communication. They always know where your project stands and what to expect. Visit QualisGC.com or just search Qualis Roofing and Construction. That's QUALIS, or call 817-500-9008 and get started today.
That is beautiful, Bloods. You know what? Finances, they're messy. They're always messy. But you know what makes them less messy? Monarch. Monarch makes it super simple to put all of your finances in one place. Investment accounts, 401ks, savings, checkings, credit cards, everything in there so that you can check all the boxes and have a clean dashboard that you can look at, understand your finances. Financial goals can feel out of reach without a proper plan and picture, and Monarch is here to give you that clear financial picture. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code DLS at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code DLLS. Go do it.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Let's get to the continuing breakdown of Stars defending and goaltending over the last 24 hours, because we wanted to show you a few more of the goals and then the final goal. We'll get to that. And then the Mikko hit on Romanov. We'll talk about that a little bit more with some follow-ups as well. But first, Luds, you showed a clip in the post-game show that I think you want to revisit, with also a new clip we didn't have time for last night in regards to two of the Stars defensemen getting dangled and walked.
Yeah. So Sean's going to touch on the other goal that bounces off the post and all that other kind of stuff. So this was the correct way. But from a defenseman standpoint, I showed this last night, and you can see where Miro, we've got a saying sometimes, you can't get your nose over your toes. And so for a big guy, when you're leaning too far forward, it's hard for you to adjust when somebody makes a move. And obviously Schaefer makes a little nice, nifty move here, and it goes between his legs. And now when you're leaning over, you can adjust to that. This one here, Bischel turns. And then we can fast forward to the here we go. Again, this is Coco Cabana now this time. And you can see his head is over his toes, little move to the inside. He can't recover either. But this is the part when Sean will remember this right now. This is how you come back to the front of your net and you stop in front. There's Bork, there's Heiskanen. Puck goes behind the net. You take care of the front of the net. Now we can go ahead and Sean can pick up on the
Yes.
that
So
second
I want to
goal.
make a point because we are going to be a little critical of Jake on a couple of plays, but he made a great save on Sipelkov there after he beat Capo Bianco. Now, Sean, we go to the Bo Horvat goal, which was the go-ahead goal to start the third period that made it 2-1. Excuse me.
Yeah, and this one's fluky. This one's fluky, right? There's not a ton to break down on this. It's just a lot of goaltending is looking at what happened and taking notes for your tool bag for the future on this. And for me, this is the one on this. Obviously, Lud's talked about about stopping at the front of your net and things like that, which come to play. But this is a play where that puck right there, it's circled in the red circle and everything like that. That should be the end of that play. It should be. It was a rush. The puck goes there, and it's one of the spots where I don't know, Luds. This was a little bit more. Guys did this a little more common when you played. Hasek was the one who did it more than anyone else, but even Eddie did it a little bit. Like you used to see goalies willing to just drop their stick and grab that puck with their hand, right? Like it used to be. It used to be a habit of like, hey, I'm gonna just drop the stick, pick it up with the blocker, and we're gonna be done here. And it's one of those plays where, because of how modern NHL goalies don't really do it that often, only a select few do, he's attempting to basically trap that puck against the side of his net, right? Like that's when he's pulling his stick over there, he's trying to trap it. Where the logical and simpler play is he drops his stick, grabs with the blocker hand, we have a whistle, the play's over. And that's another thing that I think, just you talk about things that should be in the tool bag and things that the goalie coach and the goalie will talk about today. Those are the little decisions that this is a 3-2 game. That goal with 0.1 seconds left, it's not a 3-2 game if we're not talking, if there's just a freeze right. So that's the thing I couldn't help but look at that way because, I mean, how many times, Lutz, did you see goalies be willing to, hey, I have a free hand, I can drop my stick to freeze this puck? And that's just what I wanted to see from Jake in that moment there.
And I'll tell you what, Sean, the very first thing I asked Ryan on that when we were sitting upstairs and watched it, I said Jake's stick must have got caught in the net, because it didn't come off the wall, because the dasher boards are like trampolines. I mean, Typically it comes off hot, right? It comes back out front pretty good. This one was like a slow roller, and I think that kind of caught Jake a little bit off guard also. But my biggest pet peeve is on the left-hand side of the screen here, this is Ritzkovian, right? And so as the player that's got the puck ends up behind the net, Ritzkovian just comes right back down behind the goal line. We end up having three guys down here, where in the previous one that I just showed you, everybody's stopping in front of the net. If you don't know, don't go. So you're just guessing. Ritzkovian, actually the puck came out the other side, as you see. Ritzkovian lost sight of it. He should just go, hang on a second, I'm not sure where it is. I'm in a better spot here than I am to where he ultimately went.
Yeah, and Sean, I talked to Jake about this today because I knew you guys were going to be talking about it on the show. He said he actually used the same word, which was fluke. He was disappointed that he didn't handle it easier, but he was saying it was just one of those weird plays where it wasn't a simple read. But he actually said, I'm wondering if maybe he was holding his hand backwards when he was talking to me, but he was saying that he was trying to just stop it versus pin it. He was trying to just stop the puck so that it would come to a halt at the goal line and then he could cover it. And it went underneath the skinny part of his stick, which it didn't look like in that one. So maybe it was the other way and he just flipped his hand. But it was just interesting they used the same word. He was like, I was trying to make a simple play and it was just a fluky one. He didn't even realize it came out until it was already basically in the net.
Well, and I think that's, Sam, to your point on that, and it's how much, and I think Jake is a little bit more of a problem solver than a lot of NHL goalies. It's why he can be in that conversation for one of the top 10 goalies on the planet when he's playing well. But there is a lot of the position now in today's NHL where the position is so overly rigid and constructed, right? Where everyone is taught puck goes right to left and everything like that. And hey, you must do this. Or if a guy's coming down if he's below the right circle, you go into the RVH, the reverse vertical horizontal. You go into that right away. And guys just become so robotic that way. And just I go back to the phrase I used earlier when it came to the play reading, just be an athlete. You don't need to be a robot on this play. Stopping the puck on the side of it and then taking the extra action to do it, that's being robotic. Being an athlete is dropping your stick and picking it up. I mean, I'm a 36-year-old subpar beer league goalie. If I can do this very easily, if I can drop my stick and pick up a puck and freeze a puck, Jake Oettinger can do it, making $8 million per year pretty easily. As a much better athlete than I am. So it kind of goes into that perspective for me of be an athlete in the position and read the play and adjust to it, because you have all the tools in the world that separate you from other goalies because of when you use that athlete brain. And Jake there's a couple examples last night of Jake being a little bit too robotic, too rigid, a little bit too much not.
Well, Sean, why don't we go to the shorthanded goal from Kyle Palmieri and you share with us your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So where the Palmieri one, and this is, so we were talking about Luds, when you look at the pass here, right? Like this is a spot where it's a 2-on-1 and I intentionally drew the lines here because if this is coming down from a spot, if you got Palmieri coming down and he has a shoot and pass option, Jake has done everything right. This is another spot of Jake not trusting that the pass isn't going to get through. This is a spot here where he gets beat on the short side. I'd love to see him, you kind of look at the spacing there, I'd love to see him cheat a little bit to the right here, because you have to trust that, you know what, maybe this time your D and then even your forward tracking back are taking away that pass. And if that pass gets through and scores there on a one-time shot off that's not on you. And on top of that, because this is a left-handed shot coming down the other side where the pass would go to, obviously Palmieri's a righty coming down, making a pass to a potential lefty. This is one where that shot is potentially coming back across the grain to where it's a very difficult shot for a lefty to go high glove here. It's likely coming back across the grain. So this is a play where you look at the situation in front of him again, and you kind of see how things have played out, and you're like, okay, it's okay to cheat a bit right here and not get beat high blocker, especially when you look at Jake and you look at kind of his game right now. Teams have been circling that blocker. That has been just let's just call it what it is. Teams have gone and in their pre-scout report, one of the books on Jake Oettinger is, hey, we're gonna beat him high stick side. That's the play. You're not gonna beat him on the ice. You're not gonna be the glove is very good. You're not gonna beat him on the ice. He's gonna seal the ice really well. So if you have the shot, I guarantee you, the Islanders in their pre-scout said, hey, if you get that look at Jake, if you get an open look on the stick side. So you have to adjust to that. You have to adjust to the league knowing the book on you. And this is just what I'd like to see. And these are the things that, once again, he can be one of the best goalies on the planet. He can be. But these are the things that are right now holding him back from doing that in the moment. So
see, now for me on that one, you can pull that up again, Ryan. Like for me, I thought Miro did a good job. And when you're on an outnumbered rush, your first priority is to buy time to allow somebody to get back into the play and help.
Yes.
So turn a 2-on-1 and 2-on-2. And I believe this is Robo coming back, and he does that. Like he gives Robo a chance here. Now, you're a little bit handcuffed, as Sean said, because you got two guys on their offsides. So when the shooter's got the puck here, you have to play him differently as a defenseman than if he's a lefty coming down. You got to take a little bit more away from him because the puck is actually in a better scoring area. So you can play a little bit tighter. But what I didn't like about what Miro did, and it's a tiny little thing, is pull that up again. So when Miro's got his stick here, sticks in a passing lane, everything's good. And you can see how he's got his stick blade, right? He's got his stick turned over. The toe of his blade is basically facing up to the defenseman. When you start to see, and you don't have to change your body, anything. You don't have to change your position. But what you do is you just roll your wrist. You roll your wrist so you flip the blade over, and now all of a sudden you gain about another 3 inches. And if he flips his stick over, just flops it over to where you could close the face of your stick, so to speak, he would deflect that puck right there. Yep. Everything he does everything the same thing. But the last second, when you can see him loading up the way he is, and you've bought time for Robo to get back into a passing lane, if he sees that, somehow picks it up, and then wants to slide it across, your back checker probably picks that off. But from here, again, I don't think it should go in from here. You know, and again, that's just my opinion. I think that he's got it. You know, he right here again. I've done my job for the most part to saying you got the shooter. You should come out
Make
and
the save.
because to me, anytime a goaltender doesn't come out and challenge on outnumbered rushes, I believe that he doesn't trust who's in front of him. He's getting ready to load up and get ready to slide across.
All right, we have a make good from last night because we had a super chat that came in about Jake Oettinger right as we went off the air. We actually went off, but T Farmer's one of our first diehards, and so of course, try to send in your super chats during when we're live, either at the start or at the end of the show. That's helpful. But he did a Masterton and 99 Cup here. I would never badmouth Jake, yet here we are, always November and December until he's lights out come the turn of the year. I don't know what it is, but it is a thing. Just another game-by-game fan overreacting. Mind my takes, ... So, Sean, this was the question that Luds, as we left the studio last night, was saying, where, you know, he talked about this, the brick wall image, the picture of the brick wall with the crack in it that we've seen already on the show today and on his 3 stars on Monday. Kind of using that as an analogy for Jake's game. Generally pretty sturdy, but with some seams that might be appearing. What's your take of Luds, this is your question to him, but what's your take of Jake Oettinger through the first 20 games of the NHL season?
I mean, he's been good, but not great, right? And that's fine. This team is a really good hockey team, and they can be one of the top 3 or 4 teams standing wise with a good goalie, and he's been good. He hasn't been a great goalie. And if this team wants to win the 16 games in the spring, he needs to be great. And so that's the way I look at it. And we shouldn't attach, like, we don't have to attach salary cap numbers to everything, but if you're going to make is $8.25 million per year and everything like that, you have to be great, right? That's just the reality of the situation. That's what comes with the job, that comes with the pay. And so, yeah, we grade Jake Oettinger much more harshly than we grade Casey DeSmith. That's the reality. He's paid. He's paid 8x.
Your stats that you submitted to Ryan. So let's take a look at what you take from these numbers.
Which do you want first, Sean?
Give me the on ice one, just with the location of the on ice space there. Yeah. So to give you an idea of just like, you look at when it comes to most NHL goals are scored in that area where the save percentage is 77%, right? Like that high danger area spot. And so the first thing, we'll talk about in Jake's defense real quick. We'll talk about Jake's defense real quick here that's a lot of shots that the Stars are giving up a lot right in front of the net there, right? So let's set the context here of the Stars are giving up way too much right there in front of the net that he's dealing with. And that's a reality. The other reality is we're at a spot through Ryan, go back to the other one real quick. If you look at kind of those side spaces, right, where he's let up, we're looking at 11 goals. He's in 20 something. Jake's played 18 games, right? He's got 11 goals let up from the flanks, the area where you see the one with the 88.2 save percentage and the 90.2 save percentage. Those are the areas where if you're letting up a goal, basically almost every 11 out of 18 games, so a little bit more than half of every game from the flank and everything like that. Those are the saves and stops you need as a goalie. And so it's, once again, this is a good chart, but not a great chart. So Ryan, let's go to the next one now, just from the kind of the spot on what teams. So this data is courtesy of Instat. Give credit to them over there. But like I said earlier, Jake is so good at sealing the ice. You look at if the puck's on the ice if it's low pad, 97%, 95%, 92% shots there. But you start looking at up high and you start looking at where teams are finding the holes. Glove is definitely not, I mentioned blocker before, but Glove has not been super clean, right? It's 25 shots above between left shoulder and right above left glove. I'm looking at 30 shots there so far this season. It's only stopped 19 of them. That's not a great number. That's not a great indication of his hands. You look at the blocker side. the book is out that teams are going to say, hey, we're going to elevate and we're going to beat this guy high. And when you're a 6'5" goaltender and the book on you is to elevate and beat pucks, there's something you need to work on to get over that. Once again, these aren't, is it a focus thing or whatever you want to call it? It's these are the things, and I will turn off I'll go, I'm sorry about the dinging here. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But these are things that can be corrected and adjusted, but it's why we need to point them out. So,
Yeah, I got a question for Sean after the break.
All right. Up next, we will hit the end of game goalie interference call again because we have some stuff to hear from it. We'll talk about the Mikko hit on Romanov and
Get
more.
some injury updates.
DLS Stars podcast continues here in a moment.
He needs some milk.
Not sure what that one's all
That
about.
was the-
but
They were trying to get that in the chat.
That was the
since you-
chat
since
suggesting
you yelled at
that
Sean.
you might need a snack.
You need a Snickers.
why is my blood sugar?
You're shaky.
That's what
you're
the
yelling,
chat was
you're yelling
saying.
at
I am.
Sean.
I'm a little pet peeved.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they
But the
wanted-
good news is that obviously from behind the net and at the other end of the rink, Jake is 100% with a save
Yeah.
percentage. So it's
Yeah.
not going in from
It's
180
perfect.
feet away. I like that. So speaking of hitting, let's hit the face-off collection, okay? Because this, we haven't talked about this enough. So there we got the green shirt. It's still green and the black one is obviously still black. And we're all kind of catering to the green one. So that's the Dallas hockey shirt. But what I want to talk about today is the Moose shirt. Now, let's find the Moose shirt because he seems to be the topic around the NHL. So we have the Finnish Mafia one, but this one today is about the Moose shirt
That's
today.
one I actually do not own. I have quite a few of the DLS collection lids, but not that one.
I think we should all get one of those shirts
I
for
agree.
defending him because I've got a little burr in my saddle about listening to some people this morning
I can't wait to hear
in
it.
very special places talking about he should have been suspended. So
Oh,
go ahead.
goodness.
I'll just let that one lay there.
AllDLS.com for all your merch.
Speak
Sam?
on it, Luds. You can also join the Supporters Club, which is another way to support DLS and get some cool benefits out of it.
Badges.
You get your badges, as Harry knows. You don't need no stinking badges. But you also get exclusive emojis, as you see down there. We have a Luds one. I believe there's milk now, was what I'm seeing in the chat, a glass of milk. There's plenty other ones, and the more people that join, the more custom emojis you get. I say it all the time, but you stand out in the chat when you have these badges and these emojis because the chat can start flowing after a game like last night when everybody's heated, and it's easy to miss some chats. So get yourself signed up for the Supporters
Believe it
Club.
or not, the milk is not a Supporters Club emoji.
Oh, it's just a regular one.
It's
Oh,
just an
that's
emoji
hilarious.
that is on there.
Well, a future Supporters Club emoji. You also get behind-the-scenes content, so join the Supporters Club now.
All right.
Look at what I get a text right there from the list. It says keep calm.
Keep
Yeah, well,
I'm telling you, these
they're
people
clearly
are
listening.
listening. That's
They're
from my
connected
Lyft
to
driver
your,
for tomorrow morning.
they're
Keep
connected
calm.
to
So
your-
the link for the Supporters Club
Your
is in the
Lyft,
chat
your
right
Lyft
now.
driver sending you
Ardell-
texts?
I'm going to Detroit tomorrow, Sean.
Ardell, thank you
Oh,
for
yeah. know this.
the gifts or membership. It looks like Art Ross Trophy winner Jamie Benn received it, and then T.O. had to answer it as well, and it looks like J.K. received a gift. You guys are very generous.
I'll say-
great diehards supporting each other.
I love that I'm seeing names that I've never seen before in our chat in a day show on a Wednesday and afternoon. So
live. At
love
least,
seeing
yeah.
you guys in there.
Because I know a lot of people watch or listen to the show later.
Yep.
But to be
cool to
here
see
live
more
is
live,
really
yeah.
cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
talk about that.
What time
Yeah.
is your team playing tomorrow?
What's that?
What time is your team playing tomorrow? What time is your team playing tomorrow?
What time is your team playing tomorrow?
We don't play tomorrow. We play Friday.
What
And I
time
have
Friday?
no clue. I don't know.
Okay, you guys can text after the show. Let's get focused
I'm worried about
here.
Live
getting to
show.
the airport tomorrow morning.
I want to talk about
We'll do a
the.
live show from your team's game.
I want to talk about this goal again, or no goal. Luds, you were pretty adamant. You think that they got the call right with 0.1 seconds left about the goalie interference overturn of the call on the ice.
Upon review,
Do you have a different take now compared to last
I
night?
do, and
Okay.
I don't even know if you, Ryan. Did you get anything, by the way? Is Ryan listening, or is? Oh, okay.
He's
Oh, good.
getting it for you. Don't
Now,
worry. He's
because
scrolling because we gave
everything that we saw
him
last
every
night.
element today.
Everything that we saw last night is this. Okay, we see this here. But if you saw it live or from when I watched the replay, we don't have one coming out of the corner though, right, Ryan? Okay, so if you get to watch it and you watch Robo's path when he came off the wall in the corner, his path is to go above the blue paint. And what happens is that defenseman bumps into him earlier than what we're seeing right here,
Yes.
and that's what takes him off of his path. Now, here's my issue with it. The review was so quick.
Yeah.
Did they only see and look at what we saw, or did they go back and look at Robo leaving the corner and his skating angle is to go to the top of the crease where he would generally go? Because I will say this, there's a lot of players that will go directly into the blue paint. Robo doesn't seem to be one of them, because you know why? The most important reason why? He wants the goal to count when he scores.
He wants to score.
This dude is about scoring goals. So he got his course got diverted probably about 10 feet prior to the blue paint, if I can remember correctly on what I saw. And then there was a little bit more contact after. Now, could he have probably helped a little bit? Yeah. But my point was, the intent originally was not for him to go directly into that blue paint. But if he was, I'll be honest, totally okay with it, because there's no time left. There's 0 time on the clock. Just go there.
Yeah.
And if it works, it
a
works.
mess.
If not, we weren't going to score without me going there anyway.
Sean, you haven't had a chance to weigh in on this yet because you weren't on the show last night, but I'm guessing that you have a similar take as far as Robo's legal ability to go after that puck, just like goalie David Rittich.
Yeah, it's so for me on this play, I think they got the call right, and so I don't like it's because they're applying the rule, and there's a difference between me thinking they got the call right and whether I like the rule or not. So the official rule is that if an attacking player by positioning or contact impairs the goalie ability to move freely or defend the goal, and so if the goal is scored off the first shot, and it's just Jason's reaching out for the puck and gets a tip on it and it goes in, it's a good goal. The problem is it's the second shot they have to account for. And that's where Robertson right here, as you can see, it's whether it's him driving the net, a combination of contact from the defender and everything like that. This is where, by the letter of the law, Rittich doesn't have an ability to make a play on the Johnston follow-up shot. So it's to me, it's a very difficult thing because I don't like the rule here. I don't like the rule here. I think within hockey, I watch this play and I feel like this should be a good goal. But when you go off the letter of the law and how the rules are written and how it's supposed to be applied, this is a good goal. Sorry, this is the right call, because the goalie does not have an opportunity to make the save on the second shot. The second a second shot starts, we then have to look at things from a vacuum here, and that's kind of the problem. So it's a rule. I don't like the ruling because I don't like the rule, but they got the rule right. If that
And
makes
here's
sense.
my only thing I want to follow up with on this to both of you guys and to Sam as well. Does this, because I think that was the right call made based on what we saw. Now, you talked about a corner view that I don't know if I've seen, but does this encourage defensemen to push opponents into their own goalie if they're going to rule this way? Because, look, we know, Luds, you have said that one of the members of the chat Matt was asking if this is interference on Pulock. The answer is yes. But you talk about constantly, Luds, wanting to meet the player before he gets to the top of the crease. Meet him over on the side so you box him out before he gets there. That's what Pulock's trying to do, I think. I don't think he's trying to necessarily drive Robo directly into his goal. I think he's trying to seal
his timing was off.
Right.
His timing. He wanted to meet him, but Robo got a half a step ahead of him, and that's why he's pushing on the back half of his
and
body.
To answer Matt in the chat, it is interference. It goes on every play and battle around the net. You try to get away with as much interference or jockeying for position, however you want to frame it, as you can get away with without getting called for a penalty.
I guess the best way to put it is, I want our defensemen to get away from that. There was one on Miro. If you remember, there was a goal that was scored with Miro standing on the.
Yes.
So he's standing in the crease. All's Miro, not Miro. It was Essa. Essa just goes and he stands on the close post. He's in the crease when he stands there. But if he steps out and he meets someone that's trying to get to the net, I just want you to slow him down for a second or two, mainly because you can't interfere anywhere else, and especially when pucks go to the point, that defenseman has to get rid of that puck quick. So if we can get out and people say somebody's coming off the wall, get away from the net. Like, get out there and meet him somewhere around the hash mark area. And then you can come back with him. You can kind of grab him. I mean, not grab him. I can be in front of you, and I can allow you to kind of push me back. But by that time, my forward is putting pressure on the puck carrier, or the guy that's got the puck, meaning the defenseman, whoever it is, that he had to get the puck up to the net quicker. So now all of a sudden that puck will arrive to Jake before that guy does and before you do. I think you should still be able to compete. I'm not talking about just, grapple the guy and just pull, hog tie him. So that's what I try to do, is get our guys to go out, meet them, and you can kind of skate backwards with them. So you're kind of letting them come, but I'm slowing them down a little bit.
Right. Now, so Sean, to my question again, if you rule this way, because I watched the overhead in live speed a couple of times, and from that angle, and I'm still curious to see this corner angle that Lud's referred to, but from that angle, it looks like his line is going to go into Rittich, but he also probably has the ability to veer his path away until Pulock initiates contact, in which case it denies him the ability to get at the top of the crease and avoid that contact. So is this ruling encouraging defensemen to drive opposition forwards into their own goalies to try to get that call?
I don't think this ruling. I think goaltender interference is called too infrequently across the league. I think it is not well defined in general in players' minds to impact players' decisions, honestly. And I also think just from a realistic standpoint, Luds, if I told you, hey, you can go push someone into Eddie all the time, you're going to feel that later from Eddie, aren't you?
That's the point.
So I mean, so like my other point is here. There's no, I don't see any defenseman or team or anything that has something in mind if we're going to intentionally drive someone into our own goalie. It is flirting with disaster. So I don't think there's enough on that. So.
All right, perfect timing for us to get to our last ad break.
I have something to say after this.
Great. Here on the DLS Stars podcast.
Raise your hand. Nobody calls on me. Is this me?
It's me. This is me, Sam.
It's Sean.
So,
okay.
Sam, what if I told you I just paused so Sam thought he could speak and then cut him off on purpose? So
that's just evil.
If you're watching this show, you've obviously discovered DLS in some shape or form. But if you are a diehard, you should tell others in the chat about how important it is to become a diehard, because it is one of the coolest things that happened to DFW sports in the last 16 months. How long has this operation been open? It's a pretty cool community of Stars, Cowboys, Mavs, Rangers, Wings fans, all of this, basically everything you could want for DFW sports. And by getting in the Discord, you get to be part of this community where you can make new friends. We see lots of people. We see lots of new names popping up in the chat, but there's also those OGs that have been there from the beginning. You get to become friends with them. And on top of that, we have this really cool thing now called the alldls.com newsletter, where it's at the website I just read, alldls.com/newsletter, where every single morning you get what you need to know about DFW sports. You get Sam's writing, you get my writing, you get everything you need from everything else. It's great. Scan the QR code. It's great.
Let's talk about the ball knower bonus. We've talked about our merchandise shirts. I think there's some pretty exciting Black Friday and holiday things coming up when it comes to the DLS merchandise collection. Why not double down and double your money and get twice as much merch because you know things about sports? Well, for example, this week in the ball knower bonus, they have the winner of USC versus Oregon, passing yards for Colorado, of course, with All City, they're big Colorado Buffs fans up in Denver. But you also have some great pro football ones. The Cowboys and the Eagles. Who do you think is going to win that one? Or Philadelphia's passing yards against Dallas. Or maybe the rushing yards for Denver against the Commanders. Go to the website, alldls.com, click on merch, then ball knower bonus. Spend $25 or more on merchandise. Activate your bonus. Get it right, and you'll get a gift card for the amount you spent, doubling your money. It's the ball knower bonus. Okay, before we get to the Mikko hit, I wanted you guys to hear, and everybody watching, here's what Glenn Gulletson said post-game last night about the final goalie review at the end.
I mean, obviously I have a different take on it, but anytime there's a player in the blue, you're going to argue, was he pushed in or did he go in on his own? And, obviously where we'd stand on that. So I thought we had a good chance because the goal, it was a call on the ice, it was a good goal. And we can sit here and argue all day whether contact was made before he got into the blue or when he got into the blue, but it's not going to do us any good.
All right. Sam.
Yes.
You do realize
Sam
that
Messler, DLS.
with me,
Yes.
Luds, and Sean, you can't wait. You gotta push. You gotta push it.
I gotta say
Hey,
stuff.
if the puck
Not
is at
his
the
style.
crease, you
Yeah,
gotta go.
I like
You
that.
can't
I
sit
like
back
to-
at the blue line and wait
More
for
of a
someone
Cali
to
vibe.
pass to you.
No, I do have one question for Sean, and then 2 points from today's practice that have to do with this.
Okay.
Sean, I think fans are asking, and I'm honestly confused too. You stated the rule, right?
Yep.
What does the rule say about contact? Like, when is it just if you're pushed in, doesn't matter, all the rest of the rules are wiped out, or how does the contact come into play? Because it doesn't seem like it's a clear enough rule back and forth.
Yeah, and that's the explanation. It's one of those where you'd like the league to be better at communicating this. And for me, I talked to 2 NHL video coaches about this in the past 12, 16 hours, whatever it is. And from their understanding on it is the element of it's the second shot nature of this. It's the spot where it's the rebound. It's the if the shot came in and Jason Robertson tips it and it goes in, or the first shot went in, there's no goalie interference here because Jason Robertson has every right to make that play. It's once the second shot becomes established, it becomes a weird kind of vacuum where we have to
but
just
David
look at
Rittich also embellished.
That was
like
my
every
second
goalie
point. Was
does.
Riddick's stick almost
He
went into the crowd?
He threw his head, and then after he
100%.
sold it, then he threw his hands back, going, "I may have to make another save here." I thought he oversold that, like we do see for the histrionic warthog. There we go, Ardell.
Yes. No, it's all of this is true. Like, I want to be clear on this. Like, I feel like this, for me, I look at this play and I look at it, and this is a good goal. This is the type of, to me, we should have had overtime. This should have been a 3-3 game. We should have gotten more hockey.
Yes.
And those things are what I want to happen. I also look at it and frustratingly have to agree that by the letter of the law and how they did things, they got it right by the letter of the law on that. And that's kind of the frustrating part of it. It's just like I was, in addition to, I watched the game last night in person as well between Detroit and Seattle, where players Nate Danielson scores his second career NHL goal. Puck lobbed in the air, bouncing puck, picks it up. Dipsy Doodles, the defender, makes a tremendous move, scores a really pretty goal that should be in NHL highlight reels. We then have 5 minutes of review to review whether the puck was this much over the blue line in the air compared to a guy's skate and everything like that. And to me, it goes back to, I understand wanting to get it right. And it's ironic that we talk about this with the Stars because Matt Duchene is on this team, and the Matt Duchene incident is the reason we're in this spot in the first place. But it's the whole replayification of sports, right? Like, are we worried about getting it fully right? Or are we worried about the spirit of the thing? Because in the spirit of the game, in the spirit of the law, in the spirit of the way things went, we should have had a 3-3 game, should have gone to overtime. It should have been really fun. But in the we must get everything right by the book with what replay has become, it was the right call. And I don't know the right answer on that. I'm honestly very conflicted on that both ways. I think I also go back to the spot of I was amazed at how quick this one was called too. Right?
That's what Lud said.
There's so many times where we go through and there'll be 5-minute reviews and everything like that. And the fact they called it like they did right away, I looked at that as a perspective of, okay, to me, this was just so, you should have just gone with the call on the ice. Like the heart of it for me, you should have gone with the call on the ice. The
Islanders would have been real happy about that. All right, let's move real quickly to your practice updates.
Yes, well, I was just going to say the reason I was asking that was because both Casey and
we have to
Jake,
get to Mikko. So if we get too long, we gotta
no problem.
Gotta go. So what do you have on practice updates?
Optional practice today. Matt Duchene will travel with the team on this 4-game road trip.
Okay.
Ilya Lyubushkin and Thomas Harley will not.
Interesting. They're not taking an extra defenseman on a 4-game
Yeah,
trip.
so they're no defensemen. They're going 13-6.
Traveling.
Traveling. Duchesne, the only thing with Duchesne is that there's no real progress. He's skating. After each skate, they monitor him and they check in. So that doesn't mean he's going to play on this trip. It just means they want him to keep skating with the team. Then the only other one was Nils Lundqvist skated today for the first time on his own, and according to Goliason, very lightly. Basically just got his foot out of a boot and put it into a skate and kind of went out there and twirled around a little bit. So still far away on that, but a couple of steps, I guess, in the right direction, and then a couple of steps in the wrong direction.
Okay, let's do this real quick because we're running out of time. Patrick Waugh and Glenn Gulletson, I have their reactions for the hit. And, of course, Mikko not going to be suspended. No supplemental discipline will be faced for his boarding major against Alexander Romanov. At the end, it was literally in the final half minute of this game the other night. Take a quick look at this. Any thoughts, Sean, Luds, Sam, we broke this down last night, but as far as how this went, clearly there's some contact by Mayfield on Rantanen, which I think starts this whole process.
The problem with what we have to do here and look at this, it doesn't tell the whole story. Because all you're seeing is it looks like he's running into him. What you don't see is at the top of the circle when Mayfield is trying to slow him down, and which he's supposed to do. He's supposed to here even before that. So there's little time left in the game. You should have seen Rantanen turn it on when he got across the blue line. He was going to get in. He was going to forecheck like he always does. But there's a little bit more urgency because there's time running out. Mayfield recognized it. He tries to step into him. They click feet. He slows them down a little bit. Their feet click, and Rantanen's off balance. And so now when he goes down, and everybody's talking about, well, he took his arms and then he pushed him. Well, let me tell you, when you're 15 feet from the boards and you're going Mach 1 and you just fall, you don't just keep your hands at your side and go, okay, I'm just going to slide into the boards. You put your arms up to protect yourself. It's a natural reaction. Unfortunately for Romanov, he was the cushion between him and the boards. So the NHL got it right, and they saw the stuff that led up to that, where there was no intent to go in and run him from behind. The guy's never done it. He plays hard, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, I'll say super quick. I think the call was a penalty. I mean, he still runs him into the boards. It's a boarding penalty. But the fact that he didn't get the suspension, I think that was the right way to do it. And I relate it to NFL games when the running back goes off the field and he can't slow himself down, runs into a cameraman or something. Watch those plays. He's not trying to flatten the cameraman, but the natural reaction, as Lud said, when you run into someone, is to put your arms up to protect yourself, and they end up throwing those guys to the ground. That is what happened. I think good call for a penalty, good call to not give him suspension.
Ali wrote a question in the chat. The 2004 Moore versus Bertuzzi incident was even more harshly disciplined due to the Canucks' promise of retribution. With Patrick Waugh's words to Rantanen, if there is retribution, which will be in late March, would it be punished more harshly?
Trust me, there won't. He's going to come out and he's going to tell his team nothing's going to happen. Zero's going to happen.
Is that just heat of the moment passion?
Yeah, it's heat of the moment. And you know what? The happiest, best people on the planet today is probably upstairs in New York Islanders and some people around there because they love this guy right here. They, you know what? He stood up for our guys. He stood up for our team. It's the heat of the moment. He probably goes in and apologizes to his players. I shouldn't have said what I did. I shouldn't have said to Rantanen what I said to him.
That's the key. Shouldn't say it to a player.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And sometimes, listen, you can do that when you're Pete DeBoer and when you're Gully and you're guys like that. But when you played the game and when the switch flips, the switch flips.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to turn it off, whether you played last week or you played 30 years ago. And he runs hot, right? And he was like that as a player, and you're emotional. I mean, I've gotten booted out of U18 games for doing it. I mean, it's just you can't stop.
You don't have Patrick. You don't hire Patrick Waugh to be your head coach, not knowing this is part of who Patrick Waugh is. That's just the reality of it.
Well, here's what he said.
Did he destroy the boards in Colorado too?
Here's what Patrick said after the game to the media.
All I'm going to say is when you see the number, you have to lay off. You know, everybody knows that. I mean, you don't go through the guy. I mean, you know, and I'm proud of the way that our guys handle it afterwards. You know, no one was happy to see someone get hurt like this, and like I said, to me is disrespectful for our guy.
Is that sort of what you were saying to Mikko as he skated by?
Yeah. It was in Colorado when he was drafted there, and it's not his style. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, that should not be part of our game. That should not be part of our game.
All right, we got to do a quick overtime.
That's all going to
here.
change when he saw the review.
Up next, let's finish this in overtime. Thank you, everybody who joined us on our television platforms. Make sure to like and subscribe here on the pod. Check out alldlls.com. Okay, Luds, your reaction to
can
that.
I say something?
You said, go ahead, Sean.
Can I say something real quick about, because and I want to tee Luds up for this. I'm watching Patrick Roy say that, and I know there's people who are going to, it's easy to say, oh, Patrick, you see people be mad about it and call him out for it or whatever, right? I look at a coach right there, and I look at the emotion on Patrick Roy's face in that moment. That's someone who is legitimately concerned and scared for one of his guys, right? That's what I see in that moment. And I look at Patrick, I look at his reaction, the way he's speaking there, and I don't see someone who is trying to send a message or threaten anyone. To me, he's legitimately concerned about whether Romanov is okay. And he is a coach who is a very passionate person about his guys. He's a very passionate person about his group, and he loves all the guys in that group. And he is going to feel it. And so it's an emotional part of, it's an emotional thing. And it's kind of one of those things where if we have, I don't know how long the Islanders waited to make him available and stuff like that, but every extra 5 minutes they could have delayed to make him available probably becomes a little bit more, not cohesive, but becomes a little bit less, the longer you take away to step away from it and everything like that. So I don't have oh my God, Patrick Roy did something wrong here. He is an emotionally fired up guy protecting his team and what he thought was right. And I think there's two different ways to say what is right. I don't think Mikko Rantanen did anything on purpose. I really don't. The horrible thing is you got a player who got hurt in a very scary incident. And also at the same time, you have a coach who's going to defend his guys. If that happened if it was flipped on the other side, when I remember when it reminded me of the Roman Polak incident against the Boston Bruins. And I always thought Jack Edwards was really unprofessional in his way of saying Polak deserved it for trying to throw a big hit late in the game or whatever it was. But you want your, whether you are right or wrong completely, it doesn't matter. What matters is to the group in that room. It matters to the Islanders. It matters to them, to that group before their next game, that they know their coach has their back. And I think that's an important thing here. Not everyone has the same goal, is judged by the same thing. Patrick Roy is judged by how those 23 players in that room respond to him, and he did the right thing for his group.
All right, let's hear from Glenn Gulletson. Here's what he had to say after the game about the hit.
Yeah. I think I have a different take on it. Everybody's going to have their own take. But, if you watch the play, I think it's Mayfield, the defenseman, actually holds up Rance, and they actually clip skates. So Rance is off balance going in there too. And I don't know, if you played the game and you're off balance heading in, you usually put your hands out. And, I've seen Rance play enough over the last 10 years that it's just one of those hockey plays that happen. I hope Romanov is okay. Looks like he went in flat, but I'm just hoping he's okay. But yeah, well, Rance clips skates being held up there, so it's a dangerous play for everybody.
And Rantanen spoke to the media in Frisco today. Yep. Sam, you were there, and he said to what Luds just said: when you're going that fast and you only have milliseconds to make a reaction, he goes, "I probably shouldn't have pushed him, but I got tripped and I was losing my balance and I put my arms out." He goes, "I just hope he's okay." He said he texted him. Yep. Hasn't heard back yet, but hopes he's all right. He said, I want to play hard, but I never want to be a dirty player. And I don't think anybody thinks that Rantanen is that type of player. No. And so I'm not surprised at all that there's no extra suspension or anything that goes along with it.
Yeah, and Glenn he said the same thing this morning. He just backed the same up. Said he believed it was the same situation. The funny part, he put a little funny spin on it and said, I think I said this on the post-game show a little bit last night, but while Patrick was screaming and freaking out, Gulletson had his team huddled over here in the corner trying to figure out how they could win a shorthanded faceoff, dump it in on a free icing, and blow the zone so they could get the puck, and they end up scoring the goal, which I just thought was an interesting little twist on that whole chaotic situation.
All right, we're just about to wrap things up. Any final thoughts about the Mikko and Romanov hit as far as what we saw, how it's played. I mean, it feels like it's just an unfortunate incident from a fast-moving game, especially with a big guy like Rantanen.
And I think Lud said it right.
Everybody got it right.
I think it's done.
Yeah.
Player safety got it right. The referees got it right.
I think the fans didn't like the audio from the broadcast picking up. You'll never make it, like something to the effect that Patrick Waugh was yelling at Rantanen. You'll never make it through the game in New York.
Well,
that you said heat of the moment, not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the other thing on that, and it's not to be crude, but it's just true. I mean, I don't think people want to hear what your players say to other people, right? Like it's the reality of if we're gonna go and it's not a great look to yell at a player, and I understand that completely, but I also know that type of stuff is said from side to side as somebody is mic'd up. There's a reason that players will often tell each other they are mic'd up for a game, because all of a sudden the language becomes PG. So I want to be clear on something. I'm not defending this. It's just it's Patrick Waugh is not an outlier. That's where I'm going with this. Patrick Waugh is not an outlier. When it's just what was picked up when you have a physical sport, an emotional sport where both teams think they've been robbed of something one way or the other. The Stars have been robbed of a loss. The Islanders think they've been robbed of they have been robbed of a player being hurt by a situation. All of a sudden it's people aren't speaking with the greatest decorum across both sides. And so that's where I go from this. It's not to defend, like as a coach, you know what? You probably need to button it up a little bit more. You need to I thought what he said to the media was great. I thought what got picked up, what he got picked up, what he wasn't expecting to get picked up, and all of that stuff, like that's got to be handled. But fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to phrase it, things are said much worse. 75 worse things were said during that game between the two sides.
Casey DeSmith should write a book.
Yeah, great spot to hear that. Luds has got to get to an airplane. Sam has got to make sure that he gets his written word out and published at a reasonable time. Sean will be maybe seeing Luds this weekend. You never know. And we will be here for a pregame show tomorrow night, 8:30. Dallas and Vancouver, the Canucks, who last played in Florida. They just had a back-to-back with Tampa and Florida at the beginning of the week. We will see you guys 8:30 pregame show tomorrow night, 9 o'clock puck drop. Of course, our full postgame show. Be a late night the next few, some late games as the Stars go out west. Thank you for watching today. Thanks for sticking around for overtime. For Luds, Sam, Sean, and Ryan, I'm Owen. We'll see you tomorrow night for Stars and Canucks right here on DLLS.
I'd like to use a couple C words.
We all silly like the mayor.